Okay, so the Mercy buffs. They're absolutely buffs. They're just absolutely undisputable. You cannot say that they're not buffs. Um, that's kind of the main point. But in this particular video, I do want to kind of go over not just the fact that they are buffs, but what it could actually equal out to be, and going over some of the stats because I feel like a lot of people don't really actually know what the hell they're talking about here. Um, and yeah, just to kind of cover some of the things, I suppose. Right now, Mercy is the second highest healer in the game per game on average. She does the second highest healing behind Anna. No, sorry, not Anna. Moira. She does second highest healing behind Moira. Now, camera's wigging out here. With that in mind, Mercy's getting a 15% buff to Valkyrie, which means she gets it 15. She gets it 15% faster, right? Okay, so that's from healing done, damage dealt, all of it, the full lot. All of that counts towards filling up her ultimate. So you get that 15% faster, which means you do 15% more healing. Number one, you get 15% more healing. You get that extra res from the Valkyrie, right? You get 15% more often. You get the damage buff more often if you so choose to use it. You get better mobility, higher survivability. You don't have to save your ultimate for specific things now. You can use it for whatever the hell you want, really. You don't have to save it. Uh, you're more likely to have two actually in one fight, which is kind of ridiculous to be honest. Like looking at the uptime, it's entirely possible. It's not even just the 15%. It can possibly represent a lot more than that, going off of how fast you actually get the ultimate charge. Okay, so those are just 7 positives already, just from the 15% Valkyrie increase. As a fact, right? Now, the only downside that I can think of is you're gonna be flying in the air more. You're more susceptible to snipers. Don't stick your head out. Don't get shot. Just be careful. They have a widow. Be careful. All right. So with that in mind, you get 15% more. What does that actually net you? Really, realistically, what does that net you? Well, let's see. Right now, you go at on average 6 reses in the average game in competitive. Which, by the way, these seem to be relatively quick games by the sounds of it. And that's one thing that I know as a Pharah main, that a good Mercy makes a significant difference in number one, my survivability, but also how fast the games are because I'm able to get 40 plus kills, right? I'm able to do some serious work on Pharah because of that. So I'm all on board for her getting buff, right? But regardless, so you get 15% more reses. That's on average a res and a bit. That's nothing like crazy, but that can definitely, absolutely make the difference. But that's also without taking into account the reduced cooldown on the res with Valkyrie. Okay, so you get more reses. You get roughly 1,500 extra healing. That actually puts you at about 13,000 total healing. About 12,000 total healing, just over. Going off the average of 10,764. Now that puts you pretty much tied with Moira, just above. It puts you into the top. You are now the biggest healer. You heal the most in the game. All right, again. And now, bearing in mind, Moira takes some serious effort to get the same kind of numbers. Okay, you're having to work a lot harder. You're having to actually do damage and heal. You're not just focusing on one. Uh, Also, remember, Mercy just left clicks on her targets, and she doesn't have to aim at them. She doesn't even have to look at them. She can literally be in a different room and it doesn't matter, which is crazy to me, right? It's easy healing, right? You're just getting an easy X amount of as long as you worry about your positioning. That is, it's relatively easy. But regardless, that puts you up first for healing. Okay. Damage wise, if you choose, right, you could even choose to just put that extra 15% uptime on Valkyrie into damage if you really wanted to, and you would still be just fine in the healing department, but you'd also get some extra kills, maybe some extra damage. You'd be able to support your team just that little bit more, right? But wait a second. Oh, let's cover the deaths too, I suppose. You die less. You know what I mean? Like, the average is 7 deaths. That's not great, but that's. If you can reduce those deaths, that's always fantastic. It means you're alive more often. It means you do more healing, right? A dead healer does no healing. Okay, well, that's important to note. So 1.5. Sorry, 15% off of 7.5. About half a death, maybe a death. It's not a whole lot, but again, it does kind of add up. It really adds up. Over the course of 10 games, that's going to be 10 deaths. You know what I mean? You're dying one less death every single game, which means you're not having to do that corpse run again every game. That's always good. That's fantastic. So you're getting that as well. But of course, there is the fact that the healing is going up. Okay, and so now that 12,000 healing starts to look actually closer to. Fuck, man. You're adding another fifth right there. So that's actually a 20% buff on her healing per second. So times that by 5, right? Because it's in Valkyrie, which you can heal up to 5 people in your team. That's pretty fucking stupid. That is absolutely stupid. The throughput increase on that is astronomical. And yeah, okay, sure, you could argue, oh, well, her healing was 60 before Valkyrie. I'm sorry, now Valkyrie will actually feel rewarding. You know what I mean? Here's Mercy's normal baseline healing, 50 heals per second. Now when you use ultimate, you get significantly boosted healing. That is how it should have been. I'm not being funny, but that is how it should have been. From the start, from the get-go, that sounds so much more satisfying to me. Fucking popping my ult and saving everybody? Fuck yeah, that sounds fun. Sign me right up. Let's go. So I think that's all good. Genuinely, I don't see any problems with this buff. I actually feel like this will put Mercy in a very, very solid spot. Without a doubt. I think it's that simple. I'm probably wrong. You can correct me. We can have a discussion about it. I do want to talk about it at the end of the day. I don't have any beef with anybody. I just want to, at the end of the day, correct people and let them know that it is actually factually a buff. That is illicit in just what it is. So, let's discuss the actual potential. Let's discuss the potential, because I really do feel like this might actually make her feel rewarding. It makes the ultimate feel good. The res. Fuck, I don't know what the hell you can do about the res. Call them out to your teammates is a great start, to be fair. I never, ever, ever, in any of my games, hear a Mercy call out, hey, can you protect this res? Never. And I'm not even just like, that's not even being fucking dramatic. That's actually true. So, I don't know. Maybe that's a communication thing. I don't know. I'm not pointing any fingers there. I find I don't really have an issue rezzing on Mercy. Personally. So, sorry for the camera. It's wigging out. It's doing all kinds of shit. I'll go now before I wig up anybody's eyes, along with the camera. I respect anybody for coming over and watching this video, guys. Seriously, like, genuinely, I think there's nothing wrong with this buff. It's all buff. There's no negatives. Absolutely none. Factually, it is a buff. It's undisputable. But even then, if we do want to go into the aftermath, I still think it's a buff. I don't think they've done anything wrong. I actually think this is going to do a hell of a lot for the hero. And I actually think it's going to feel a lot more satisfying. So, yeah. Thank you guys very much for watching. See you guys later.